Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education and Culture, Youth Affairs and Sports, Dr. Lavon Chadwell Bruley, as well as Mrs. Connie George. She is she's an education officer. And we're going to be talking about the new initiative that's coming on stream in the schools. It's called Key Stage Assessment. We're going to find out what that is, how it's going to impact the school system, how it's going to impact the students, how it's going to impact parents, what the benefits are, how is it different from the way we assess students now, when will it take place, a whole host of questions that needs to be answered. Of course, there's some public meetings that's going to be held coming up. We're going to talk about when and where those are going to be and where they are. So it's going to be a lot of information this evening. Also, I have with me the Honorable Marlon Penn, the representative for the 8th District, who will be updating us about developments and activities in his district, some of the things that he has accomplished in some of his future plans. So that's going to be important and interesting. You know, we got the sewage project to complete. We have a proposed stadium. We know that some of the members of the district are concerned about priorities, and they would like to see sewage fixed before we engage in any other project. And so we're going to discuss that and find out, if he's got his priorities in order. So you make sure that you're here, call your friends and relatives. We're going to be streaming live on jtvlive.net. So if you don't have, you can't get near a TV, or your friends don't have a TV, they could always stream on the computer, stream live on the computer. So call them up and let them know that. Of course, before we get into the meat of the discussions, Sean Rose is here. Sean Rose, reporter extraordinaire here at JTV. He's here with those stories that's going to be making the news this week. Sean, what you got?
How are you doing, Cromwell? Good evening, viewers. Tonight we're looking at a report issued by the Auditor General, Sonia Webster, and Communications and Works Minister, Honorable Mark Van der Poel, has responded. In fact, he's rebutting to claims made by the Auditor General, suggesting that there was conflict of interest in the way the Cruise Pier Park project was handled. Of course, Minister Van der Poel has been at the center of this discussion, and pretty much some may say he is the embattled minister for the time being. But he's suggesting that the report by the Auditor General is lacking sufficient evidence, sufficient information. He says there is not sufficient details for one to make an informed assessment of the situation on hand. He is therefore basically questioning the authenticity of the report by the Auditor General.
Have you gotten a copy of the report, Sean?
No, Edgerenka. Unfortunately, this report was leaked to selected media sources. I am not sure on what basis. However, that information wasn't made available to us here at JTV News.
Has anyone called the Auditor General to find out whether they can get a copy of the report, and why was the report selectively distributed?
Well, that's a very, very, very good question to ask, and of course you would anticipate that no answer would be forthcoming where that's concerned, because no one would actually disclose the source of this leak, and whether in fact the information was in fact leaked, or if it was given, decidedly so to selected media houses. However, we know for sure that only selected media houses have had access to this report.
But you would think that the rest of the media houses would be clamoring at the door of the Auditor General and trying to find out, well, why is it they don't have a copy, and when in fact can they have a copy, and is it going to be made public?
Yes.
And when will it be made public? We don't have any of that information.
No, and in fact, in addition to that, the Governor's office is largely responsible for this report, because it is alleged, and it is said according to the sources who have published this report so far, that the Governor's office requested, or we can say safely, the Governor requested this audit of the Cruise Pier project. So it is really, a number of answers are really yet to be had with relation to the actual report itself and
so basically,
and the findings.
If you were to form an opinion, you would be forming an opinion based on a report from those media houses who had access to it, and you cannot be sure how accurate their reports are,
precisely because you want to verify, you want to really assess the veracity of the different comments, the different conclusions that that the Auditor General would have arrived at, and you wouldn't necessarily want to rely on one particular source. In fact, the public, for that matter, would have loved to have had an opportunity to hear different sides of the story coming from the various media houses to get a better understanding of the issues at hand.
And what is the conflict of interest that the the so-called, well, the reports on the audit report
Right.
is referring to? Is the minister getting a job from this development? Is he getting kickbacks from this development? Is he? I mean, what is the basis for the reports of conflict of interest?
But if we were to go based on Honorable Vanterpool's response, which was issued via a statement circulated to the media today, he rubbished the claims of conflict of interest made by the Auditor General, and he asked her to retract her allegation in her report with regards to conflict of interest. The minister says that he was not involved in any unfair dealings regarding the project. He said government's approval of the project was never based on the involvement of the BVI Investment Club. He further indicated that he had resigned from the BVI Investment Club approximately 1 month after the 2011 November general elections, and he has since then divested his interest. So basically he's saying that he was not and today is not a member of the BVI Investment Club.
Did the Premier say in his statement? Did the Premier say in his statement that the BVI Investment Club, although indicated in a possible partnership, that partnership never materialized, and therefore there was no real partnership between the BVI Investment Club and Tortola Pair?
Yeah, and that's true, because as Vanterpool says in his report, the investment club really, that issue arose after it was suggested that there needed to be some local investment, and of course the BVI Investment Club was one such parties that was seen as a potential participant on the local level. But the investment club wasn't principally involved in the project from day one, and even up to the point where the agreement between government and Tortola Peer Partners was more or less annulled on September 27th. The investment club there wasn't any signed agreement or contract indicating that the investment club was actually involved in the project. So to be fair, no, the investment club was never really involved.
Did the minister indicate whether he had a copy of the audit report?
Well,
did anyone ask him if he had a copy?
Well, I can safely say that he listed in his statement, he listed the report as 05113. So basically 051113. So basically he must have had the report, because he's really saying, he's giving you
he's identifying it.
Yes, the principal identification code for the report. And of course, given the different statements that he has made, he obviously would have had to peruse the document before he made his conclusions and decided to ask the Auditor General to retract her statement. So
far we've heard the minister's statement, but we haven't had an opportunity to question the minister regarding his statement.
No, and in fact, much of this information has come via statements. The Auditor General has not made herself accessible. Neither has the governor, nor has the Premier, nor has the Minister of Communications and Works, Honorable Vanterpool. In fact, all of these statements have come via press statements. In pretty much the same way the Auditor General report was issued to selected media, we have had, of course, all of these statements from the Premier and the Minister of Communications and Works circulated to the media, but in this case, all media. And that's pretty much where it is. We will be trying to get responses from the Minister of Communications and Works, we'll do so.
Hopefully, if the government has a copy of the audit report, certainly it would be in their interest, yes, to make it public.
Precisely.
But then again, you don't know if if there's some procedure they have to follow. It has to go to the House or something.
Which begs another question. Would someone be in
violation of the law? In violation of the law, yeah.
Yes.
So those are questions that need to be
answered. We have no problems with that. WikiLeaks has set the trend. So send it to us, and we'll extrapolate and assess and let the public know what are the findings. Well,
certainly it's a ticklish situation, and we're looking forward to see what develops in the next in the days ahead. Thank you very much for that interesting report there, Sean. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to be talking with Dr. Levon Chadwell Brewley, Deputy Chief Education Officer, along with Mrs. Connie George, Education Officer. We're going to be talking about key stage assessment. Yeah, the keystone is in my mind. Key stage assessment. And we're going to have a really interesting discussion. Keep it locked right here to Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Clarence Thomas Limited, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.
Life is like a mountain you must climb. Life is like a treasure you must find. A baby learning how to talk. With just one step begins to walk. One step at a time will lead you to paradise. Your dreams are there to find. One step to paradise.
For any job, be it residential or commercial, Clarence Thomas Limited is the British Virgin Islands' best choice for a wide variety of supplies to help tackle any task. Refresh the interior and exterior of your home with our selection of paint and painting supplies. For home improvements, CTL is your one-stop source for sinks, tubs, toilets, faucets, and decorative products. Convert your yard into a landscape paradise with tools and supplies from our lawn and garden center. Or visit our lumber yard where you can build that house from the ground up. Visit our convenience stores location at Pasea, Port Purcell and Tortola, and the Valley Virgin Gorda. We provide something for everyone. Clarence Thomas Limited, the best products at the lowest prices, period. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Tempt your taste buds in the British Virgin Islands this November through 2 spectacular culinary events when the BVI Tourist Board presents BVI Restaurant Week and the Anegada Lobster Festival. Top-notch chefs, spiny lobster dishes, cook-offs, a VIP dinner, breakfast, lunch and dinner menus at unbelievable prices, and tons of fun on these beautiful Caribbean shores. Festivities begin the 22nd of November and continue until 1st December. For more information, contact the BVI Tourist Board at 1-284-494-3134 or visit bvitourism.com/restaurant week or bvitourism.com/Anegada Lobster Festival.
Calling all CCT Internet customers. Did you know if you have CCT Internet service including internet on your phone, you can connect to CCT's 4G Wi-Fi service free of charge? That means you can enjoy unlimited high-speed CCT Wi-Fi on any Wi-Fi device. Browse the web, check your mail, stay connected to any of CCT BVI's hotspots for free. Call CCT today and request your exclusive CCT Wi-Fi username and password and join the CCT Wi-Fi network. CCT, the home of unlimited.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Edgewenka, and I want to welcome my guest, Dr. Lavon Brewley, Deputy Chief Education Officer, and Connie George, Chief Education Officer. Welcome to Spotlight. Good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
I
us.
think both of you are not strangers, right?
No.
You've been here before. Okay, so everything gonna be cool. We're gonna have a good time. There's a new initiative coming up, key stage assessment that you're going to begin to implement in the school. It's from primary school to the secondary school,
schools.
primary school and secondary schools.
Yes.
Give us a little background and explanation about what is key stage assessment.
Well, thank you for having us again, and a pleasant evening to our Spotlight audience. The Ministry of Education and Culture will shortly integrate key stage assessment into the education system. There are some areas in the Education Act which we have not yet addressed, key stage assessment being one, and we are now taking the necessary steps and actions to ensure that the mandate for key stage assessment in our school system is realized. Now, in this process, the curriculum will be organized into blocks of years mandated by the Act called key stages, where at the end of each key stage, the student's performance will be formally assessed to measure the child's progress. This process will happen in the course subjects math, English, science, social studies. The process started at the beginning of this school year in stage 1 with the key stage readiness test. And this test has so far enabled us to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the students entering our system, as well as the strengths and weaknesses from the centers from which they came. And this is invaluable information to us because it helps us to focus and strengthen the shortcomings as we make plans to strengthen the education system.
Okay, so all right, good. Let's go home. We got everything. I saw the questions. All the questions one side, right?
No.
Well, so it's already implemented.
This school
It's
year
already
is began,
started.
yes,
So is this at this September it started
with the stage 1.
with stage 1 students, and how when you say it's implemented, it started. What is happening? So you had an assessment already. Assessment is to come.
We had an assessment at the beginning of the school year for the students who are coming from the preschools into our system.
And how was that assessment done? What form did that take?
We were basically, my name is Connie George, and I'm happy to be here. Yeah. We were basically looking to see if the students who are coming into the system has the steps or the foundation on which we now need to build. So they come into stage 1. Can they identify their colors?
So you gave them a test. You gave them...
And this test would have been at their level. It may have just simply been asking them to show us different colors. It would have been asking us to say your ABCs. It may have been asking us for them to do count from 1 to 5. You know, those are the things that we would have expected that a child at 5 years old will know.
Would be able to do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so you take the different students
individually,
and you categorize them into daycare. What daycare they came from?
Well, they would have come to us from the different daycares.
Were you identifying? Were you saying, well, these students here are from this daycare, these students from this preschool, because if you want, as Dr. Bruley said, you wanted to see where the foundation was being laid, and if that foundation was effective, that you would be able to strengthen that foundation. That's why I understand you say, Dr. Bruley.
Yes.
Right. So,
and strengthen the foundation in terms of what the students are coming to us with,
right.
not necessarily looking at their preschool or their origin, even though that will be important for us, but that's not our number one focus.
Okay.
Our number one focus is to be able to know how we will begin with these children. And by that I mean, we may have had a child who didn't go to a preschool, but they are now 5 years old. So they're coming to us with a clean slate. So we will now be able to say, okay, here's a child that we know we can't start at this level, we have to start with this level. So here the grouping idea and the change from the whole class idea comes into focus. And again, that's one of the things that we are hoping to have, that differentiated learning coming out very strongly as we progress with this process.
I'm asking that question because I'm concerned about our early childhood education process. And it seems like it leads to constant remediation all throughout the life of the human being. And I have a personal issue with that because it seems to me like we paying double for education. So I pay for early childhood education in a preschool, right? And the expectation is that child is going to be on a certain level at primary one, whatever that stage is called, stage 1 is called, right? But then the child is not fully prepared for stage 1, so the primary school now have to go and start from scratch when they should be starting from a more advanced stage. And then the primary school, at the end of the primary 5, you find that the child has not gotten all of what they needed in early childhood education and in primary 5, and you got to do remedial classes again in first form. So you pay for that education in early childhood, then you pay for it again in the primary school, and then you pay for primary school education in primary school, and you pay for it again in secondary school. That is an issue that I have. We pay double for education because we're not meeting the standards.
Sort of the topic, but I will just bring this in and say, basically, what the key stage would help us to do is early intervention. All right? When I say that, I mean we are identifying in stage 1 those children who may not have met our requirements. In the past, they would have all come in and they would have all gone through without us having a formal way of saying, well, you know, this child really is not ready. It could be several reasons why the child is not ready. And you may have identified one of them as being not getting the necessary foundation. On the other hand, the child may have been exposed to the necessary foundation, but for one reason or the other, did not grasp it. So here we are able to look, because in education, every educator needs to be able to know the early signs that will hinder development in learning. So every educator needs to know those signs. And here we are looking at this document, we are looking at the results, and we're able to say, well, maybe we need to do some kind of testing, some further testing to see if there is an early learning development hindrance. We don't know.
Whether it's physical or social, for example.
Or it could be a learning disability.
Right.
Okay, and they come in various forms. And so we have jumped the gun way over, Adrianka, in terms of, because that's one of the things that the key stage we are hoping for it to do for us.
So that's a major benefit.
Yes, we are hoping that it will do for us the things that we have been grappling with for a little while, and one of them is being able to identify your students earlier than we are now that need intervention. So remediation is going to be very, very key in this whole process. We are fully aware that we have to put into our system a whole lot more remedial measures, and we are looking forward to working through it and seeing how we will get that out. Because you see, the whole thing about key stage, if you know of a child's development, they go through stages. And as your physical changes in each stage, you're expected to be able to do certain things. If you see a child who is already 7 years old and that child is not speaking, has not said a word, that's a red flag way high in the sky, and we have to see what is the problem. But if that child at 1 year old is not speaking, it is not a red flag. We recognize that some kids might do it 9 months, 1 year, 1 year, 5 months. But if a child gets a 7 and still not speaking, we have a problem.
That's a problem.
Yes. Yeah. So that is the kind of thing that the key stage will do for us, key stage testing. We are expecting that the children will be at a particular academic level by the identified stages. Now, these tests are not going to be run every year. What is expected to happen is that teachers and the schools are expected to do what they're doing right now. Teach for learning. Continuous teaching for learning, and their internal assessments, their accumulation of grades, and then decide whether the child has mastered the information and they're ready to move on. So from class 1, class 2, and then the stage at which we would intervene again in terms of a standardized test would be at class 3.
Okay, so this is in the primary education section.
Yes.
So in the beginning, you have a key stage,
right,
that you would be assessed
to see how they're coming to us.
And then in the 3rd grade,
in class 3, grade 4,
you'll have another test, and then class 5,
yes,
we'll have another test.
Yes.
So the value, does that diminish the value of the test but just take example of the Primary 5 exam that is like, the exam. Everybody is geared up. You hire consultants from all over the world to make sure your child passes the Primary 5 exam. That's how anxious parents get. Does that mean that
we are hoping that will decrease?
That will diminish in value.
We will hope that anxiety will decrease at that point when we are now using other stages for this evaluation.
So your advancement or your success or moving from one class to the other will not totally depend on one exam.
No, it will not at all depend on that one exam anymore. We are going to be looking at the child as they begin with us, taking them through the necessary classes and the levels, and a standardized test will come to show that the child has mastered. If the child has not mastered overall, we are looking at territory-wide, then we know we need to do some intervention. Intervention here may mean extra classes, may mean changing our strategy, may mean different methods, a variety of things. And I mentioned the word earlier, differentiated learning, because we are fully aware that over the last several years, we have had to strategize and change our focus on whole class teaching to group teaching, because within our classes, we are having students who have different ways of learning. So if I'm teaching, if I'm having a discussion today, I should somewhere come with something different for the child who is not going to get it through a discussion. That child might need to sit and write their answers out, so I must include something like that.
So are we going to have assessment then of the different types of learning for students as well? Because I know, and whenever you say that, that's a possibility.
That's a professional development session. That means these are the things that we're going to be doing with our teachers, ensuring or trying to ensure that we have our teachers well engaged in learning that will vary their strategies.
So the teaching and learning methods are going to change as well along with this key stage assessment.
All I can say is we are hoping. We are hoping that these things will fall in place.
Well, are they going to fall in place, or do you have to make them happen? Because it seems to me like the key stage assessment is going to depend on these various teaching methods and learning methods.
So we are going to do what is necessary.
So you are going to
professional development, or encouragement to the teachers, having them trained where necessary, giving them exposure to variety, and this is
a policy that's coming from the ministry.
Yes,
you're handing this down, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I'm trying to figure out how it's going to work if you don't have those things in place where teachers know that they are responsible. Now, are we going to be holding our teachers more responsible for the learning of the children?
Yes. We are like we are now. We are going to be, and one of the things that we started even more doing is supervision in the schools, where the officers have been challenged to be in the schools and our presence be more visible in the schools. And that is going to be extremely important, that we are there. We are supporting our principals. The principals are doing what they need to do, and the teachers in turn will follow suit, will carry out their responsibility.
And in addition to that, we have also trying to implement a new evaluation process where we will not only have the principal evaluating our teachers, but we will have more bodies in the classroom evaluating the teachers as well.
So we're holding the teachers accountable for teaching the information. Now, part of the assessment, as I noted in your information dissemination process, is going to have to deal with cognitive thinking skills, development of cognitive thinking skills, and analysis, and so on. I know when I went to school, and I think up to recently, perhaps until this new initiative, retention by memory was an important component of learning and responding to testing. To the extent that you were able to memorize and regurgitate, to that extent you were successful on your exams. Is that going to change now?
In every test we'll have a measure of, there will always be a measure of information you have to know. So that retention will always be there. However, we are hoping the test is more of a diagnostic, more wide-based, And so it would give the students an opportunity to do more analyzing, critical thinking, and inculcating their own personal feelings in the presentation.
But your broader assessment,
yes,
your broader assessment
yes,
apart from a test would be based on those judgments.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we will be having a more broad-based diagnostic approach on the key stage testing.
By necessity, your teaching method would have to change.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
And our teachers trained as they stand now to engage in that different teaching style.
Mrs. George alluded to it earlier. She said that we will have to do a number of professional development sessions to ensure that this happens.
Okay. So that's part of the whole
package.
key
The whole
stage
package, yes.
key stage assessment process. So our teachers are already in the training mode for a different teaching styles.
Professional development has started.
Okay. That sounds political. Professional development has started. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. I'm excited about the new development actually, because I think it bodes well for our children,
Yes.
and particularly in this modern era where cognitive thinking is almost the all in learning. So we have now a broader role for parents as well. Is there thought about what the role of the parents are going to be? Are we going to need or require parents to be more involved in their children's education than they should have been in the past?
I believe that we have always wanted parents to be fully engaged with their children. So again, we will be encouraging parents to take up the mandate. It is not just the classroom, but the parents must do their part at home, provide a necessary environment, be sure that students are exposed or their children are exposed to the necessary natural learning processes in terms of, when you're driving in your vehicle, it's not just playing a game on the iPad or something, but you're engaging them in a conversation. And that type of natural learning goes a long way for our children. So we are expecting that the parents would have an open communication with their children. We're expecting that our parents will provide the necessary, study environment, be sure that they have the basics for learning, be sure that they are supplied with their tools for learning, and the whole list can go on. But these are things that we have always been requiring of our parents. So again, we could just encourage them again to do that, to do all those things.
But have we been falling short though as parents in that area there?
That's a blanket statement because we do have parents who go above and beyond,
right,
to be sure that their
but
children.
But
generally we do have some
speaking,
parents who
speaking,
we really need to speak to and get them to come on board.
Are we going to do anything to help to motivate those parents and get those parents to really buy into their need and the role that they have to play in the education and children? And just as you said, we have parents who are going beyond and above their call of duty, and we could tell whose parents are involved by the success of their children.
Yes.
I think to the large degree, to the extent that a parent is involved in a child's education, to that same extent that child is successful in getting that education. I think it's been proven, right?
Yes, certainly.
So are we going to take on part of that as well? Education systems going to take on part of that motivational factor of encouraging and cajoling and marketing to the parents.
Yes, as a matter of fact, there has been some talk about parent meetings and parent sessions. So all this can tie in with the whole process as we look at it. So, but in honesty, to answer your question, a whole lot of detailed thought have not gone into what we're going to do with the parents. It's just a matter of saying, well, we know we have to do some things with the parents, and for those parents who would need the assistance in helping their children.
Okay. What have I neglected to ask? So you have meetings coming up.
Yes.
Right? Where those meetings are going to take place?
Our first meeting is going to be tomorrow evening. That's Wednesday evening at the Briarcliff Hall, Sir Rupert Briarcliff Hall. It's going to begin at 7:30, and I would like to take this opportunity to invite parents, guardians, all well-wishers, community-minded persons, everybody who you all are stakeholders in education, and we need your input in everything that we are doing. So on behalf of the Minister of Education and the entire Education Ministry, I just want to invite you all to come out and be a part of this discussion, which we hope will be very interactive and a learning experience for all of us. And whatever you have to tell us and whatever you have to share will be useful.
And what you're expecting to result from these meetings? What are you're coming with the public, and you know, what you're expecting public buy-in, you're expecting, you're just sharing information. What do you have a goal for these public meetings? What are your expectations?
Our goal is to, if there are any questions, to answer the questions and to really let them know what our intentions are, as we want to make the public aware of what is happening within education. I think sometimes our public operate in ignorance because we do not allow them or give them the information that they need. So we don't want them to move away with key stage testing doing something that it cannot do for us, but we want to make sure we are telling them exactly what the key stage testing is all about. And I would add here that for us coming on board with key stage testing, that's a UK term, but it's something that happens all over the world. Americans call it, most recently, Obama have introduced the Common Core standard approach, where he's sending this information out to all students within the U.S. territories, and they're expected to prepare the students to do this common assessment at the end of the process. So that is something all over. The UK does it, the Americans do it, Australia, Canada, wherever you probably go, you can find forms of the key stage testing. The idea is that we remove the focus from one central area, two central area, and spread this thing out across the child's learning period within their primary and secondary years. And it will help us to measure territory-wide what our students are doing and help us to implement policies that will.
So you expect to gather a tremendous amount of data that would inform
certainly.
policy decisions?
Yes, yes.
Now, this is a big deal. I mean, it's a changeover from what we are accustomed to. What challenges you expecting to have to overcome in the switch to key stage assessment?
Well, you alluded to one very earlier, and that is the one with being sure that our teachers are doing what they're supposed to do. Because it's very, very easy to teach to a test. And we are hoping that our teachers will really focus on teaching for learning. That is going to be key, that our students are not learning what the test is saying. Because the first one you may not know, but by the second, the third, or the fourth, you will know the format in which these tests will be taken. And then you tend to get that kind of focus, and we are hoping that that will not happen. So that's why our supervisory role will be so very important.
How are the teachers responding to this?
We had a meeting with the principals and selected teachers, and the principals were supposed to have been sharing this with the entire staff. Actually, on August 26th, when the minister spoke, he alluded to the fact that we wanted to go in that direction, and I am happy to say that the applaud was very loud. I mean, that was one of the areas of his speech that had a very loud applaud, and I believe that in education is something that we all know of. It's just that it has not been practiced in our system.
So our teachers are familiar with
They
the
are
process.
familiar with the general term. Yeah, the detail of it, I can't tell you that they know. Now we are bringing it out. We are hoping to get all the detail pulled together and all the pieces come together.
Because it calls for a lot of cognitive thinking on the teacher's part as well.
And good planning.
And good planning. So that's going to be interesting to see how we manage it. And I mean, it's a great thing. Yeah. The final thing is, and I wanted to ask this earlier, but I slipped my mind, but I'll do it now. You talk about the different kinds of learning. Actually, children learning in different ways.
Yes.
Are we going to do an assessment of the children's learning styles? It seemed to me, right? And I don't know if you know that Medita Wheatley, for example. Right. I was when I hear about that particular aspect of teaching and learning, I always think of her because I know she's done some extensive work in left brain oriented, right brain oriented children, and the learning styles associated with those hemispheres. And it seems to me that it would be great for a teacher to know beforehand on their roster, on their student roster, right next to the name of the student, L R L L R R R L L, meaning this student is left brain oriented, this student is right brain oriented, and by having that information, a teacher can assess how many students in the class are right brain oriented, how many students in the class are left brain oriented, and how the combination of methods of teaching need to be applied in those types of situations. Is that something that sounds like it make any sense at all?
Yes, but it goes a lot deeper than that, more than just left brain, right brain. We have things like auditory learners, sensory learners, those who need a visual picture, those who need to touch it, the manipulatives. And these are things that the teachers, once you're a trained teacher, you have been exposed to that. What is probably not happening is that we have not been practicing all of this. So again, it's just a matter of us trying to reinforce the information that you have learned, that you really do need to vary your teaching styles within your classroom. And we have come up over the years doing a lot of chalk and talk. That is the blackboard, you stand up and you lecture. The lecture method has been very popular, but we are hoping that we can get them away from that. This is the age of technology.
More of an interactive.
Yes, this is the age of technology. Nothing is wrong with having a visual classroom, a virtual classroom. Nothing is wrong with having them use the computers. And we are hoping that we're going to get these. And I could put a plug in for all the businesses who would like to make donations.
And to thank all the businesses who already made donations.
Some have made donations, and we are grateful. And I put in a plug here for the businesses, business owners who are listening. Give us some donations. We need some technology in the schools, and yes, we are hoping that the government will, but we know that they can't do it all.
Well, I know,
So
for example, there's schools in the territory already where all the students take their laptop to school every single day.
Yes,
you know, and they are plugged into their smart board, and they
So even a smart board, you can give us some contributions of smart boards also.
They interact, so
because the smart board is an extremely good tool for the 21st century classroom.
of learning technology.
The Promethean board, yes.
Teaching and learning
certainly.
Technology. Well, it certainly was a real pleasure. I don't know if there's any final comments to tell us where the meeting is going to be held again, that you have public meetings, and if any last words you want to impart, to look into the camera and talk away.
All right, thank you. It was great being here, and I just want again to encourage one and all to come out to our meetings tomorrow night at the Briarcliff Hall if you're in Tortola. And if you're in Virgin Gorda, we are going to be in Virgin Gorda next week, Wednesday evening at the same time, 7:30 p.m. at the Catholic Community Center. Again, we are looking forward to a large turnout in Virgin Gorda, and come with all your questions. Make sure you get it all cleared so you will have knowledge of what we are really trying to do. Our goal is to improve our education system and to allow our students to be so exposed and so well prepared that they're able to compete globally, not just in the BVI, and regionally, internationally. And I also will put a plug in here for the accreditation process that we have undertaken for a couple of years now, and we are getting to the point where we're ready to close in some of the schools. And here again, this process is extremely useful for the accreditation process that we are doing, that we can show from our self-study how our students are progressing. Students' learning is absolutely important when it comes to education, and their outcome, their results is what we are looking for.
Thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
certainly want to congratulate you. You want to say something?
I want to say that it was great being here, and I endorse what Mrs. George has said. I look forward to seeing a lot of you tomorrow evening, as well as next week's Wednesday in Virgin Gorda. Thank you for having us.
I'm excited about the way you guys are handling the education process and the improvement in the education system and improvement in standards.
Yes.
I think it's a very exciting time for education in the territory,
Yes.
and I wish you every success. Thank you again for being on Spotlight.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to be here with Honorable Marlon Penn, the representative for the 8th District. He's going to give us an update on what he's done over the last couple of years and what he plans for the future of that district. Keep it locked right at the Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, Clarence Thomas Limited, and H. Lavity Stout Community College.
Serving the community for over 25 years, Tortola Concrete Limited is the leading producer of concrete products in the BVI. With grades of 3,000 to 5,000 PSI, Tortola Concrete ready mix quality unmatched in the industry, and we can mix to your specifications. Our aggregates are clean through our unique washing process for our smooth, clean mix. And our special chilling process makes our concrete crack resistant. Tortola Concrete Limited is the concrete company for all your quality concrete products. Gravel, road base, face stone, boulders, armor rock, coarse sand, terrace, and the cleanest, strongest, crack-resistant, ready-mix concrete. Tortola Concrete batch plant serve you Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. until the last load. Our knowledgeable, effective staff gives you free estimate and delivers on time to any location. Contact Tortola Concrete at 494-3259, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Conveniently located in Parkwood Pond near the BVI electricity plant. At Tortola Concrete Limited, the strength is in the mix.
Educational institutions are often best judged by the quality of their graduates. At the Hamilton Labadee South Community College, the educational experience offered enhances the lives of graduates and through them, organizations and communities as well. I believe HLSCC graduates represent the rich tapestry of skills, attitudes and personalities needed for any community to thrive. I am Zebulon McLean, Chief Fire Officer of the Virgin Islands Fire and Rescue Service and a proud alumnus of HLSCC, where I obtained a Certificate of Achievement in Disaster Management and 2 associate degrees in Business Administration and Finance before furthering my studies abroad. I also serve as an adjunct lecturer at HLSCC and enjoy participating in the college's 2-mile race series. I fully support the efforts of HLSCC to deliver tertiary education to the Virgin Islands and the region. And now, because of HLSCC, I am making a difference.
Remember, at HLSCC, your tomorrow begins today.
The 19th Performing Arts Series opens with what promises to be exciting and off the chain. From MTV's Randy Jackson's America's Best Dance Crew Season 5, the Atlanta-based crew Jungle Boogie. On Saturday, November 9th at 8 p.m. at the Eileen L. Parsons Auditorium, Jungle Boogie will show you their Georgia cranking style. Tickets are available at Lime, Sunny Caribbean, Bella Bloom, and the HLSCC bookstore. Tickets are $20 and students with ID $10. Come out and enjoy the fun time with the Jungle Boogie crew at the Jtvlivenet South Community College Auditorium. That's how we do. We Jungle Boogie with you. We Jungle Boogie with the crew. Yeah, yeah. That's what we do.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Honorable Marlon Penn, representative of the 8th District. My brother, good to see you.
Good to see you, Juanga.
Yeah, man. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
Don't lose your daps up.
No man, no man.
Your daps up is very important.
Stay local.
Yeah, stay local. Yeah, we just had a really great discussion.
Very good discussion.
Members of the Education Department, the Ministry of Education. Dr. Bruley and Ms. George, and so we're gonna start you off on what you're doing for education. I mean, as far as infrastructure in the district, in the 8th district, you know, how are you? I mean, I think what I need to do is I need to go down perhaps ministry by ministry, and see what you have been doing in the 8th district over the last couple of years that you've been representing us. But yes, since I've been talking about education, what infrastructural developments in education, what are some of the things that you've been doing and in that category in the 8th district?
Well, first of all, Edjuenko, I want to thank you for having me here this evening. I want to say good evening to the listening of you in the public, especially the audience from the 8th district. I want to thank you again for posing the confidence in me to represent you in the second House of Assembly. Education, like you said, it was a really good discussion to see where we're taking the education system. The minister has been very busy since taking office in 2011 in terms of trying to move the education to a culture, creating a culture of excellence is his motto as it relates to education. And he's also been working closely with myself as it relates to Willow Wheatley and the Francis Letson Primary School, which is known to be the 7 districts school, but it's situated in the 8th district.
Francis Letson in the 8th district as well?
Well, it's in Greenland, which is the 8th district.
Okay, but I mean the boundaries.
Yes. It's actually geographically in the 8th district, but it's known to be
in the 7th district.
7th district.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So but we've been doing a lot of work as far as Willow Wheatley is concerned. When we took office 2011, one of the things as far as education, we looked at revitalizing or fixing the infrastructure at Willow Wheatley Primary School. We've made some significant improvements to that school. We've added air conditioning units to keep the rooms a little more cooler. There was a complaint about it's being very warm in some of the classrooms, so we've made those upgrades. Additionally, we've also repaired some fencing around the facility that was damaged, so we repaired those fencing. We also did some major repairs to the restroom facilities there at the school under the minister's guidance. And additionally, we made some, we dusted off some plans and did some redesign for the old staff room, the staff room that was demolished. And we actually in the process of getting that project moving with a view of getting that project completed in 2014. So we've been doing a lot of work as it relates to education and specifically the infrastructure of the Willow Wheatley Primary School and getting that structure to the institution that bears the name of Willow Wheatley. It needs to be
a great education,
and
a
great
public
leader.
servant
Exactly.
and leader. Yes.
So we need the building and the infrastructure needs to represent that. But I also want to say that in terms of the teachers at the Willow Wheatley Primary School, I don't know if you know in the last recognition ceremony that the minister had for the teachers, Willow Wheatley Primary School was ranked #1 primary school within the territory for last year. And it was rated by its peers. And the principal, Ms. Edith Penn Charles, was rated the #1 principal by her peers. So it says that.
And how was that determined?
I don't know the criteria that was used, but I think they used the teachers voted. I don't know specifically the criteria, but Willow Wheatley came up on top in 2 categories.
Well, that's
so it says once the infrastructure is in place, we have the capacity in terms of the intellectual capacity to move that school to where it needs to be in terms of the top school in territory. That's what I'm pushing for.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Anything cultural in the district with young people and in recreation and getting them a place to go after school and having structured play in a good environment to express themselves in their free time.
Well, one of the key things for us was the closing of the Greenland field. When we took office, that field was in a deplorable state. It was in a state of disrepair. The community was out of recreational facility for over 3 to 4 years almost. At that time after taking office. So we worked quickly to get that field restored. I think within our first year, we were able to restore the Greenland field to the state of prominence that it once had and the role it played as far as, giving our young people in our community an avenue, an outlet, somewhere to go through sports and sports development. And I think that was something that we were proud of when we had that opening in 2012, when we had that opening of the Greenland field. It's something that, that, like I said, we were proud of, and we pushed and we campaigned hard about getting that facility up and running. Additionally, I'll take a step back. One of the things that we did when I took office is that we created what we call a district council. Because I thought it was important for the community to have a say or a voice in the development of the community. So we enlisted a group of young people, young, old, in-between persons from within our community. And we had discussions in terms of how we're going to move forward as far as development of the community is concerned. We looked at 6 broad areas in terms of the district council. It was education and social development, heritage and cultural identity, sports and youth development, health and safety, environment and economic and infrastructure. On the cultural side of it, I enlisted the assistance of Miss educator, Miss they call it Letitia Rogers. We call her Baba. In terms of we need to put a summer program together, not just the usual babysitting type summer program, but a summer program where our children could learn and take something away from their activities over the summer. And we put together what we call a cultural summer program, which went out very well in the community for both Eastern and Longlow community. We had well over 200 students participate in that program that year.
And what happened in the program?
Lots of things. We had help assistance from Clifton Thomas from our community. We had assistance from Teacher Jenny, Teacher Claudia, and several other persons from within our community assisted us in terms of teaching a lot of the cultural things of the past. They did cooking, they did baking, they did fish pot. Yeah, they did fish pot making. They did mixing of traditional juices and that type of thing.
And Teacher Claudia makes
straw hats. They did that. I mean, I know Kendoy Mother was one of those persons that participated as well. So it was a really, really, really educational program that we put on this year, and I want to commend Ms. Letitia Rogers and her team for doing such a great job in terms of putting that program together. We also had a situation where they went and they did sails around so they could see the islands up close and personal, so they could tell a little bit of the history of the islands. And they went to a lot of they even came to the House of Assembly on one meeting, and they were able to see us in process as far as the procedure and the processes related to the House of Assembly.
I can put chance, but I have it to kill.
Don't kill me yet.
Because I play basketball. I shouldn't say play basketball. I don't really exercise. I don't really play basketball, but I exercise. I exercise on the basketball court with the kids, and I don't know what the contractor was thinking about. You understand? Putting them big rock around the court, and I encourage it. I put down a spot right here on national TV. To get them rock stone from around that court, post haste, and put something else down there. I don't know what you're going to put down there. I know I actually went as far as going online and doing some research on surfaces that you can put around basketball court, and there are numerous rubber, cost-effective rubber surfaces that you could surround the basketball court with that are safe and comfortable for the children to fall on and to fully express themselves when they're playing. I'm really afraid of the danger of the stones around the basketball court, and I really need to get that straightened up. So I want to put you on the spot on national TV.
Yes, I accept that, Edwin. I think it's a hazard for the young people out at the court. We've had discussion with the chairman of the Recreation Trust regarding those stones and having them removed. I've also spoken to the minister, who's assured me that they will be removed. So we're working to get those materials removed from the facility and put something that's a little more safe and conducive to the environment.
There's a lot of rubber surfaces that you see in playgrounds up and down all over the wall to cushion falls and to that kind of stuff. We need to have something like that.
Yeah, quite right. And we're going to address that situation.
Good. And going forward now in terms of education and culture in the year ahead. You have any plans for the future in that area?
Yeah, we're looking at a few things as far as I mentioned earlier. The staff room that has been promised to that institution for well over 6 to 8 years, and they've been waiting for an improved, conducive environment for the teachers to congregate, to have discussions and do what they have to do as far as planning for the future of our country, which is our young people. And I think that's long overdue, and we're moving that project forward. The minister assured me that that's one of the initiatives that he's pushing forward for 2014, and we're hopeful to get that facility up and running, because they're right now in a cramped situation at that school, and they deserve better.
Yeah, libraries is a I don't know if libraries are becoming obsolete, or it's just that our libraries are so outdated that. It's boring to go to the library now. What are we going to do about our library? We have a nice little library there, Long Swamp. What are we going to do about our library?
We have some ideas as far as what we can do with the library facilities. It's something that is on my agenda. I've had discussions with the minister in terms of making improvements to that library facility to make it more conducive for even the elderly persons who want to come to the library. It's comfortable. It's not too much hassle for them to get to the library. We're looking at online catalogs, those type of things in terms of the library. I don't know if you see the work that the minister has done with the BVI High School library and how that's transformed the campus there at Elmore Stout High School. We're looking along those lines in terms of more modern type library and make some improvements to our library services as well. So that is in the pipeline. Funding permits. Of course, we want to look at major improvements as it relates to our library services in our district.
Okay. Now, I saw in the papers and I heard on the radio about your Greenland project development. You know the people going to beat you up because you're going to go start a big giant project, and you still ain't finished the sewage project. So I don't understand where your priorities are.
Good question. I mean, my priorities are very clear, Jtvilenet. The sewage is number one priority for us as it relates to addressing that issue within the Eastern Island community. But an opportunity presented itself as far as this development is concerned. As I mentioned earlier, the district council. One of the things that we also did as a district council is we looked at economic and infrastructural development, where we can look for other avenues outside of government to do developments within our community and stimulate the local economy in terms of construction and the socio-economic development of our community. One of the ideas that came when we did our research was the whole issue of the FIFA and the FIFA Gold Project.
And FIFA meaning?
The Football Federation of the National Football Association. That's the governing body of football. As you know, football is the number one sport in the world, most played by more persons than any other sport, any other team sport. And we started discussions with the BVI Football Association, a local branch of CONCACAF, which is the Confederation of North and Central America and Caribbean associations that is associated with FIFA, which is the international governing body. And in our discussion with BVI Football, we knew that about 10 years ago, they were pitching this idea of developing one of the gold projects within the BVI. I think the BVI is one of only two nations from the CONCACAF region that have not taken advantage of this gold project, where FIFA would come into the Caribbean nations, give a grant to develop facilities within those specific areas. And we thought it was important for us to try to see if that opportunity still existed and if we could participate in that opportunity. After a discussion with Mr. Andy Bickerton, who we've been working with for the past year in terms of working on the logistics of this, and he expressed that it's still an interest. They're still interested in developing and spending some of that grant money in the BVI. And we discussed a plan of action for moving forward. We saw it important not just to develop a stadium that only facilitates football, but encompass or complements what we have at the Greenland facility. So we looked at the fact that we don't currently have a netball court, which was there previously, and we had to get a netball court for the women in our community who've played netball for many, many years, and actually fought very hard to get a facility over on Greenland, and we've displaced them now for the past 6 years. So we looked at that, and we looked at the fact that the track in Rotown is being, currently we're in a process where we're going to have to replace the surface. It's under warranty, but it's being replaced because of the over wear and tear. So there's a level of wear and tear on that facility where many persons are using it for recreational use and as well competition and training. So we needed to. So I looked at a possibility of having a second facility, not to take over what is being done in Rotan as far as competition, but to create a second option where persons could train, exercise, and all those type of things within our community. You know, our community is actually the largest community in the entire territory. And not only that, we've had the reputation in terms of track and field for having the top athletes in track and field. We have all the top records in the territory. National records are held by persons from Eastern Lalo community.
What do you say?
We have the 400 meter was held by Dean Greenaway. I think it's 46 seconds. We have the 1 and 200 meter record, which is held by Dion Crabb. We have the long jump record, I think, is held by Ralston Balak. I don't know if you know Ralston, you remember Ralston, who was away in the US. And he actually works for Mondo, who is the company that does the installation of tracks. So that's what he does now as a career now. So we looked at all those aspects, we brought them together, and we brought a proposal together that FIFA bought into. They said, look, we understand that you have to do more for the community. They were okay with moving forward with a proposal to include track and field, football, international size football stadium, and a netball court. And we also looked at developing parking. Right now there's a congestion situation right now in that community. When there's an event on Greenland, there's nowhere to park. So persons line the streets, create a congestion, and there's no in and no out. So we looked at expanding, which was already in the plans, to expand the Greenland field for parking, which is going to create another 150 parking spots. In addition to some spillover parking behind the stadium is another 50 spots to create sort of a national stadium type environment for our community. And we also looked at developing a bypass road for emergency purposes that goes around the Francis Lesson Primary School.
So FIFA is actually funding this project?
Yeah, FIFA is.
So how much of the money are they putting in?
FIFA is funding to the tune of $1.5 million. The project is a roughly about $2.75 million, and FIFA is putting in 1.5 plus technical expertise. And I also got a call today from Jose Coneres, I think his name is, who he's the president of Peru's Olympic Committee, who heard about the project, and he wanted, there's a meeting in St. Thomas currently with IOC's Olympic committees of the region, and he heard about the project and he's interested in participating with us to bring technical expertise and to lend his support wherever he can in terms of the facilities. So we're having a lot of donations in kind in terms of expertise and so forth to get this project moving.
Well, certainly that's an exciting project, and particularly for me from the perspective of the national strategy for the prevention of non-communicable chronic diseases. We're going to need facilities to exercise for people to get into activity, and proper diet to reduce their potential for contracting developing these non-communicable chronic diseases. So that's certainly a good fit.
Yeah.
In the community. So I guess you had to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yes, we had
before it passed. So it's not a question then of a priority. It's
a question
of necessity.
Exactly, and it ties in nicely into what we're trying to do in terms of that area. It creates what we call a sporting corridor. And to facilitate the whole development in terms of sports tourism, and the Premier always speak about the possibilities as it relates to sports tourism and those economic opportunities. And you just mentioned a key point, Jtvlivenet, the whole social aspect and the whole issue of non-communicable diseases. To tie into all of this, we've also looked at, we're currently in the process of doing a refurbishment of the gym facility in the community center, which is been donated by Nagico. They donated the new equipment to totally refurbish the gym. And we're looking at the possibility of the development of the polyclinic in Eastern Lala community. So you have the facility, you have Greenland Field, you have the gym, you have the clinic. There's numerous opportunities here for itself for sports medicine. Persons could come to this facility, be rehabilitated, go to the clinic, use the facility for rehabilitation. You have the gym as well, and equipment in the gym that they could use as well. Physiotherapists could use this area.
Who owns the gym?
The gym is owned by government.
And who is, somebody is running it? You have to have a membership? Because somebody complained to me that that the gym seemed to be privately owned and operated, and they felt restricted in have an opportunity to use it. So I'm wondering if that could be cleared up.
No, that's not accurate. The gym is owned solely by government. Owns the premises.
And the equipment.
The equipment is donated. I know the representative of 7th District have over years have donated funds to furnish equipment. Like I said, Nagico is now donating making a huge contribution to.
So anyone could go to the gym.
Anyone could do the gym, but there's a structure. There's a group of persons who, from the community, who took up the whole running and managing and maintenance of the gym. they're the ones who've kept it going for this long to ensure that it's there for persons to use.
So you just fit into this.
Yeah. There's a structure. You have to go and get a membership. You have to pay dues. I mean, these people have to maintain this facility. There are costs associated, and so I know it's been. I myself as a member, I pay my dues when I go in, and it's a well-run facility. I have to give it up to the guys who are doing it, who took that responsibility to get that facility to where it is, to where it's going to be now with the new refurbishment in terms of the equipment. But I know the Minister of Health is looking at a whole entire reform in terms of how these facilities are run and how they are managed. So he's putting a policy in place to guide the running and management of gyms within our territory.
Yeah. We got to take a break forward from our sponsors. We're going to come right back. I'm going to talk about the waterfront development in East End, because I'm noticing that we're falling at 3 o'clock and there's so much stuff to discuss about what's happening in the A district. We may not get all of it, so we might have to have you back again to continue the discussion. But there's some key areas that I think we need to get in. Keep it locked right at the spot. I'll be right back with the representative for the A district, Honorable Marlon Penn.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Clarence Thomas Limited, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.
What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? Hanging out on the corner where there is no future. What are you doing with your life? Tell me, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? That's what you should do with your life.
For any job, be it residential or commercial, Clarence Thomas Limited is the British Virgin Islands' best choice for a wide variety of supplies to help tackle any task. Refresh the interior and exterior of your home with our selection of paint and painting supplies. For home improvements, CTL is your one-stop source for sinks, tubs, toilets, faucets, and decorative products. Convert your yard into a landscape paradise with tools and supplies from our lawn and garden center. Or visit our lumber yard where you can build that house from the ground up. Visit our convenience stores location at Pasir, Port Purcell and Tortola, and the Valley Virgin Gorda. We provide something for everyone. Clarence Thomas Limited, the best products at the lowest prices, period. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
I want BVI, and together we will reach the sky. One friendly view, love can compare. All smiles will greet you, all through the air. Over 60 islands, water's crystal blue. More love for me and you, let our national pride shine through. I wanna be an ambassador, always polite and courteous. We work hard to provide first class customer service. I want BVI, and together we will reach the sky. I want BVI, and together we will reach the sky.
At CCT, unlimited means unlimited. We've got the best selection for unlimited voice and internet plans available. Choose unlimited voice for only $39 per month. We'll give you a choice of unlimited usage with or without contract. Just choose one of our no contract plans. Need unlimited internet? You've got it. We'll give you unlimited internet on your phone or unlimited broadband at home without no overage charges. No high bills, no need to pay for fixed line you never use. Choose CCT and join the home of unlimited today. CCT, where unlimited means unlimited.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Social Security. How may I help you?
I'm here to find out about my husband's Social Security. You hear about that bad accident? Tis my husband get mashed up. So I come to find out about his security.
I'll be happy to help you. Let me see what you have.
Man, I have plenty bills.
a lot of bills. Taxi bill, hospital bill, air ambulance bill. He went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it was a serious accident, you know. The thing fall down and he nearly kill him.
So sorry to hear that.
So, when I gonna get some of that security money?
We process claims quickly. Let me just check on his contribution status. Miss, your husband's contributions are not up to date.
What? What do you mean by that?
He is registered with Social Security, yes, but contributions have not been paid in for him for over a year. I am so sorry, miss. He does not qualify to receive a benefit.
You got to be joking. He has been working all these years. What happened to his contribution? How are we going to pay all these bills? Miss, check again. Check again, miss, please. Check again.
Surprised? No need to be surprised. All insured persons should check on their contribution status at least once per year. Remember, you must secure your tomorrow today. Check on your contribution status right away.
Welcome back to Spotlight. Before we go to the waterfront project, I think we need to get an update on the sewage project. The Eastern Langley sewage project. Where is that now? At what stage in development? And do we got any hope of having that completed?
Yes. Well, quick update. I know we're short for time, so sewage could be a 2 hours discussion.
Yeah.
But in terms of a quick update, we started the project in earnest once we took office. We decided that the project is too important to play politics, to stop the project. So we kept the project moving in terms of the plan that was in place. So we've installed all the residential lines in Paramtown, Major Bay, and James Young. So all the residential lines that were in plan for those areas have been installed.
That mean the lines have gone to the houses?
All the core veins for that would connect to the homes are installed.
But the homes
have not been
up
connected yet.
Okay,
No.
all right.
Those have been installed. Additionally, what we've done since is that we've put out to tender the main line. This is the main artery that goes from Chapel Hill to Paraquita Bay. We've done that in segments. So it's a major undertaking, so we've done it in segments. The first segment will go from Chapel Hill to Paramtown. That has been tendered. The tenders are in. I think there's probably going to be a decision soon as far as cabinet is concerned in terms of who would be the contractor to construct that work. Once that is done, we're moving forward getting that work done. But what I have done in the interim, and because I go to Greenland and I see the horror that the people of the Greenland have been dealing with for some time now. It's really overbearing
for years.
What the people of Greenland have had to put up with for many years. And I had discussion with the Minister of Works about the possibility of us doing something temporary in that Greenland community to get that facility, a temporary facility in place to treat the runoff that's occurring currently in Greenland. The Minister agreed, the Minister of Finance or Premier agreed as well for us to move forward with that. We've since installed a structure. I made a mistake the other day when I did the story in terms of the contractor that did it. It was BioSafe who did that installation of that facility in Greenland. We have the facility in place right now. We're currently going through the planning for the connection of the homes in Greenland that we know are the main culprits of the runoff. Okay. The reality is, Cromwell, is that you have about less than 5 homes in Greenland that are the main contributors to that runoff that's occurring on the roads in the Greenland area. Okay. And it's something that
so you're in the process of getting those houses, those homes connected to the new
treatment plan that will be installed,
and that would put an end to at least
to the runoff, that particular
area.
runoff in that area. And we're hopeful that we could get that done by the first quarter of next year. We're hoping to get it done by the end of the year, but you know, when Christmas comes around and everybody seems to be on a go slow, as we said, we say in East End. So we have to take in consideration that the holidays are upon us and all the things that we have to do.
So right now we're in the process of running the main line from Chapel Hill down to Parentum. That's going to be, the contractor is going to be chosen for that in the near future.
In the next 2 weeks.
In the next 2 weeks, and that project will start, and of course you're planning to make sure that people from the Eastern Landlock area get jobs.
Yes, of course. You always have to stimulate the economy. The construction economy right now is stagnant, as you know, and that's one of the reasons why we're also pushing ahead with that the stadium development as well. It creates economic opportunity within our community, construction opportunity.
And so then after that, from Chapel Hill to Greenland, then we're going from Greenland down
to Long Swamp and all the way down
to Paraquita Bay. Yeah. So that's where we are now as far as
the sewage is concerned.
So okay. And as far as the treatment plant in Paraquita Bay,
it's still there.
That's another issue.
That's another issue with Bywater. There was some agreement from the previous government where Bywater was contracted to do the installation of that facility.
So we wait for that to happen. But in the meantime, that's
what we're doing as far as sewage is concerned.
Okay. Now, people are saying that Long Bay Beach, Beef Island, has been there for many years, and you still don't have a place to change. You don't have a place to rest yourself. And certainly you're going to get blows for that.
Yes, I get some blows, but I think we've done a lot of work as it relates to Long Bay Beach is concerned. I don't know if you've been there recently and have seen the transformation.
We see a nice clean open area, and you got picnic areas, and you got more inland space now than you had before. Yes, I've seen that.
And that's the first phase. That's the first phase that we created that improved ambience of the beach, because the beach was littered with trash and all type of debris. And we thought it was important to clean up the place first and get the place looking presentable. And now the next step of our plan is to now develop a sort of a master plan for the rest areas that you're talking about, the central entertainment space and more of the community spaces that we want to put on that facility. We're talking about restrooms and etc. So that persons could have somewhere to change and relieve themselves if, because the beach is now more popular as it relates to entertainment than it was before. Now that the new space that we've created in terms of the cleanup and how it's well. And we also, I need to also add that we also have persons who are there now regularly maintaining that facility. So it's constantly maintained. The bush and the shrubs are constantly raked and disposed of. So it's a constant maintenance process that we've put in place to ensure that we just don't clean it up and leave it to get
dirty again. Just leave it so.
And we have someone who is stationed, and about 2-3 persons we're trying to put there to do that. I don't know if you've also seen what we've done to Trailers Bay. We've also done a similar process over at Trailers Bay, where we've done the whole revitalization of the entire Beef Island, Long Bay Beef Island community. So we've done an entire revitalization. We've put proper entranceway into the beaches. I don't know if you've seen that, down a little mountainside on the main entrance to the beach. By the Dawson's property, we've done some improvements outside of their property as well, to make the place more presentable. We also have persons who are in place to constantly maintain Beef Island and Trailers Bay. And you see those guys are there cutting those areas constantly. That is a popular area for persons who walk and exercise in our community.
Yes.
So we thought it was important for us to keep that area maintained, well maintained and manicured, so that our residents who walk on a daily basis, many in the mornings and some in the evenings, have a safe and clean environment to walk, exercise. Not only that, Trailers Bay serves as the gateway for our outer islands, or tourism product, so to speak.
Scrub Island,
Virgin Gorda, Guan Island, all of those islands use Trailers Bay as their terminal of exit and entry, back and forth for their tourists and their guests. And you need to have a pleasant environment. The way Trailers Bay was before was really unsightly. We created a housing area as well for persons and locals and visitors who are going to Virgin Gorda. Now Speedy has a 10 o'clock ferry, and he has an earlier ferry that leaves from the Tortola Wharf, as they call it. So we created a safe area where persons could go shelter from the rain, etc. So they could, when they're waiting on Speedy's bus to come, and we've lit the area more so that we could have, person feel safe in that area, in that environment.
Okay. Now, we got a couple of seconds. The waterfront project that's been there from time I born.
And before I born.
Definitely before you born.
Yes.
So, I mean, are we ever going to get that done? Get anything done with that?
I envision that we are going to get some work done with that. I don't know.
And I know that the people of the A district are probably the biggest obstacle in terms of land use distribution. It's a big challenge in that project.
It's a challenge, but there's some things that we could do as a government, and we started the process of getting those things done. We're looking at the possibility of getting Red Bay Dock started next year, 2014, with a view to have that dock refurbished, redone, the whole area fixed and upgraded. That is a major thing. Fishing is one of our main industry. The Minister of Natural Resources and Labor is pushing very hard to make fishing one of our next economic pillars, and we need facilities like Red Bay Dock and the adjacent terminal to make that happen. One of the things that we did, I know you're aware of Ella Reef. When your father was a fisherman back in the day, and then he had his aquarium, where all of us used to see all those very various species of fishes there, fish in that aquarium. What we've done is that the Ella Reef channel that was blocked for years now, that project has been on the table for now over 10 years, well over 10 years. We've opened back up that channel. Now there's a steady stream of water coming through the channel. It's flushing the harbor out.
And I have to say, like, from my house,
you can see the improvement.
I could see the water clearer.
Yeah, what we've done is that we've had the environmentalists come test the water quality, and it's significantly improved. Now you see, when you were growing up, we used to jump off Red Bay and swim in the water. We couldn't do that in recent years because of the sewage and other issues of water quality. You were unable to do that. I saw my son swimming on Red Bay the other day. My son has now participating in the whole Red Bay jumping off situation. Now by Sam, there's a little dock by over by Sam where a lot of the younger kids go there and they go down and swim now, because we had to ensure that the water quality was good enough for them to go into the water, and it's been tested. We have a regular process of testing our water quality. And it's good for the kids to swim now. So it's made some significant improvement.
That's great for sure, because them were the good old days.
Yes, the good old days.
The good old days. Yeah. So the waterfront, what we gonna get done with the waterfront? Anything?
Hopefully Red Bay Dock. Where I know.
Down further down.
Well, I know
we got some illegal landfill there. We got some challenges with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as I know the fishing area, but as far as other economic development along the shoreline, I noticed down that Chadwell is developing.
Yeah, his marina.
His marina, and of course we had Eddie's marina there. That I think is looking to show some signs of life.
Development. Yeah.
So, is there any master plan being developed for there? There's one already. And,
there was a plan that was in place for some time now. We're looking, I know the minister is looking at the possibilities in terms of that development. I know one of the things that the minister is keen on is the restoration of the beach in Fataugs Bay down by the Malone, my family, the Malone's property down there. I know they're looking at that restoration. I know the minister's in some discussion, so I don't want to preempt anything that the minister might want to discuss or say on that project in terms of that moving forward. But as far as the district side of it, we're working to get the fisherman dock in place and get that up and running.
Well, that would be great, because I'm in full support of fishing being a third economic pillar, and I can see that taking off right away, especially if we get some the fact that when you come in with your catch 24 hours a day, you could go to and drop off your fish and get paid on the spot. I think that's a key. That's a key component of the development of that industry that I'd like to see come in place.
Again, as part of the district council, you see the district council is working feverishly at work. We had discussions with a few members of the community in terms of farming and fishing co-op. So we've already drafted potential bylaws and structure how this co-op could work. We want the fishermen in our community to own the fishing product.
Are we buying in though? Are the fishermen in the community buying into the minister's request for a third economic pillar in fishing being that economic pillar? Because East End was full of fishermen.
Yeah. And they still are. I think
are we buying in? Are they coming on board? Because I know they had some mistrust,
some
reservations, and so on. Are we getting them to get any movement in that area?
I think we're getting there. The Chow is now on actually number one of the top fishermen now in that community, and a lot of other older guys who used to do that still do it. I know Frank Smith and his son Gary, and they still do it. Up to yesterday, I saw them with a catch that they brought in terms of the seine fishing side of it. I think it's going to be slow. We as a people we tend to be skeptical of these ideas as far as where they come. I think we just have to continue the dialogue and show the fishermen that this is about you. It's not that the government wants to take over your business, but we want you to run it. We want to help you put the structures in place, operational structures and the financial structures to help you to expand your business and do more than you're doing now as far as bringing in the cash. There's so many possibilities as it relates to fishing. Fishing is an $80 billion a year industry worldwide, and the BVI has what we call the third largest barrier reef in the world, and we have so much endless supply, endless stream of all type of species of fish out there, and we need to really capitalize on that in a real way.
And as financial sources become more under attack from the international community,
we need something to supplement our income.
Certainly for our survival, we're going to need. Well, I'm afraid they'll be under 10 o'clock, and
that's how it is sometimes.
I think you seem to be working hard. You're a cool, relaxed fellow. You don't make a whole lot of noise.
I just do my work. That's all I do.
You seem to be working hard. We wouldn't know it if you don't come and say something.
Exactly. That's why I'm here.
So I hope to see you on a regular basis to give us regular updates, so we don't have to update everything at once.
I agree.
But hopefully you get a chance to come back and continue our discussion about some of the other things going on in East End, like the cleanup projects and environment cleanup and keeping the place looking good.
Infrastructural stuff that we're doing.
Infrastructural things that is happening there. So we'll be looking forward to having you back. So don't stay away so long.
I'll try not to.
Don't be. I don't know why the politicians afraid of the media. It's okay, guys, scared to come out and tell the people what they're doing. I mean, you should be scared to come out if you ain't doing nothing.
True.
But if you're working hard, you need to come out and say.
Let the people know.
Let people know what it is you're doing. And I want to congratulate you for, for the work that you've been doing and for coming and providing this update. Good to see you.
Yeah, good. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
all right, good.
Cool. Yes, indeed. That was a conversation with Honorable Marlon Penn, representative for the A District, and certainly, there's, as you've heard, there's quite a bit going on in the district. As a matter of fact, I didn't realize there was so much stuff happening in the A District. But we're doing okay and looking forward to continued development there. Thank you for watching Spotlight, of course. Spotlight is seen Tuesdays at 8 p.m. here on JTV Channel 55 and rebroadcast Sunday afternoons at 2:30. You could also look at Spotlight on jtvlive.net for those programs that you've missed. If you've missed any part of this program, you certainly could catch it at jtvlive.net. If you want to do some research and go back to programs months ago or years ago, you could do it on jtvlive.net. So Spotlight is there on demand as JTV is there on demand. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for your words of encouragement, your criticism. Continue to email me at jtvspotlight@yahoo.com. I'm Edjuenka, reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, Clarence Thomas Limited, and H. Lavity Stout Community College.
Serving the community for over 25 years, Tortola Concrete Limited is the leading producer of concrete products in the BVI. With grades of 3,000 to 5,000 PSI, Tortola Concrete ready mix quality unmatched in the industry, and we can mix to your specifications. Our aggregates are clean through our unique washing process for our smooth, clean mix. and our special chilling process makes our concrete crack resistant. Tortola Concrete Limited is the concrete company for all your quality concrete products. Gravel,